When a zombie virus becomes a reality, would people react like this man? Sean, just like any other day, steps out of his house, completely oblivious to the fact that the city has changed dramatically. The empty streets now have a few zombies wandering around, but he doesn't notice them at all. Someone rushes past him, but Sean pays no attention. His mind is solely focused on getting to his favorite convenience store to grab a bottle of his favorite beer. You'd think the bloody handprints on the refrigerator would catch his eye, but no. You have to admit, he's a man of focus. At the checkout, not seeing the owner, he casually leaves the money on the counter, unaware that the store owner has turned into a zombie and is right behind him. On his way back home, Sean nearly collides with a zombie, mistaking it for a homeless person. This might seem a bit disrespectful to the zombies, but somehow, he manages to get home safely, savoring his hard-earned drink. If Sean is the dragon, then the Phoenix spot undoubtedly belongs to Ed. He tells Sean there's a cute girl in the backyard. Hearing this, Sean's interest is piqued instantly. The two mischief makers head to the backyard to chat her up.
Excuse me?
But when the girl doesn't respond, Ed picks up a stone and throws it at her. As the girl turns around, they are both stunned by her ghastly appearance. Anyone with common sense would see something's wrong with her. As the zombie girl lunges at them, the two jokers continue to banter. When Sean is finally knocked over, Ed realizes the danger but grabs a camera instead of a weapon. Sean, never having encountered such an aggressive woman before, is a bit flustered and asks Ed to pull her off him. But as soon as Sean gets up, the girl lunges at him again. Irritated, Sean pushes her away, insisting he's not that kind of guy. The push ends up impaling the girl, leaving her dead. However, to their shock, she stands up, completely unfazed. It's only then that the slow-witted duo realizes something is seriously wrong, and they hurriedly retreat back into the house. As they prepare to make phone calls, they discover that none of the lines are working. At that moment, an emergency broadcast interrupts the TV, announcing that a zombie virus is spreading throughout the city and everyone must stay indoors and secure all doors and windows. Clearly, these two never had the habit of locking doors, and sure enough, a zombie barges into the house. Terrified, the two jokers scramble in a panic, grabbing whatever they can from the table and hurling it at the zombie. It isn't until Ed picks up an ashtray that they manage to accidentally take down the zombie. Just then, the news advises that only headshots will effectively kill the zombies. Realizing this, the duo exchange a look and decide to test this new information on the two zombies in the backyard. Their idea is sound, but their execution is far from it. They start throwing a bunch of random items at the zombies, which is more like giving them a gentle massage rather than inflicting any damage. After emptying the basket of all its contents, Ed grabs a vinyl record and throws it, surprisingly causing some actual harm. Encouraged by this, they bring out a whole box of records, but soon find that their accuracy isn't great. Finally, they decide to opt for more straightforward and brutal weapons. Returning inside, the TV broadcast informs them that being bitten leads to infection. This reminder prompts the duo to remember their roommate upstairs. Upon checking, they discover that he has already turned into a zombie. Sean quickly locks him in his room and then receives a call from his mother. Initially, he panics, thinking she has been bitten, but when he learns it was his stepfather who got bitten, his mood improves considerably. Worried that his infected stepfather might harm his mother, Sean devises a detailed plan. First, eliminate the stepfather, then rescue his mother, followed by picking up his ex-girlfriend, and finally, heading to the pub to ride out the chaos. With everything set, the two take a deep breath and charge out of the house, only to be greeted by a football hitting Sean in the face. A small zombie child had thrown it. While this wasn't too big of an issue, they quickly realize that zombies behind them are already closing in, hungry for flesh. Panicking, the brothers scramble into their car, slam the doors shut, and peel out of the driveway, tires screeching. The streets are a scene of utter chaos, with the dead struggling. They quickly arrive at their destination, but at the critical moment, Ed has a change of heart. Encountering this kind of behavior from Ed, Sean can only sigh in resignation and proceeds alone. Entering the house, he is relieved to find his mother unharmed. Seeing his stepfather sitting in the living room, Sean is eager to take him out, something he has long wanted to do.
Why? What have you done now?
However, to his surprise, his stepfather is still coherent, giving Sean quite a scare. Out of respect for his mother, he reluctantly agrees to take his stepfather along. As they are about to get into the car, a few zombies suddenly appear, and his stepfather is bitten again. Sean quickly moves to help, managing to fend off one zombie. With the threat momentarily neutralized, the group quickly piles into the car and speeds away. Following the plan, Sean arrives at his ex-girlfriend's house, only to find her 2 roommates there as well, throwing another wrench into his plan. However, Sean has become quite the brave leader by this point. He leads the group through the horde of zombies, heading towards the final step of the plan, the pub. The group is crammed into the small car, arguing incessantly about why they're headed to a bar, oblivious to the fact that Sean's stepfather is on the verge of turning into a zombie. Just before losing consciousness, Sean's stepfather confesses his true feelings, revealing that he always wanted to be a good father but struggled to express himself, leading to numerous misunderstandings between them. This heartfelt admission leaves Sean deeply moved, but it's too late. His stepfather has already turned. As they realize the transformation is complete, they quickly abandon the car, locking the zombified stepfather inside. Without a vehicle and surrounded by zombies, the group is in a precarious situation. Fortunately, the zombies are slow, and there is still some distance to cover before reaching the pub. The group decides to take a detour through the back alleys and small streets. At the intersection, they encounter another group of survivors who happen to be acquaintances. After a brief and awkward conversation, the 2 groups part ways, heading in opposite directions. Sean's group needs to scale a wall to reach the pub. Just as they're about to climb over, Sean realizes his mom is missing. Hearing her cries, he vaults over the wall with a graceful landing, only to find his mom lying on the ground. From the nearby house, something appears to be coming out. Back on the other side, Sean's companions are worried. Suddenly, the wall collapses and Sean is attacked by zombies. Everyone is terrified, but his ex-girlfriend grabs a bench and rushes to his rescue. Sean manages to break free. Diane tosses him a steel pipe, and with guidance from the 2 women, Sean drives the zombie back and pins it firmly to a tree. With the immediate crisis averted, Sean climbs a ladder to survey the situation outside the pub. To his horror, he sees a sea of zombies completely surrounding the building. Getting to the pub safely seems impossible. As everyone is feeling hopeless, the zombie pinned to the tree suddenly starts to move. Sean has a light bulb moment and comes up with a brilliant idea. The scene shifts to show a few odd-looking figures mingling with the horde. They are Sean and his friends, imitating zombie movements to blend in. The plan looks ridiculous but surprisingly effective. Despite their clumsy acting, not a single zombie seems to notice them. They manage to reach the pub's entrance unscathed. However, no matter how loudly Sean calls out, there is no response from inside. The noise also attracts a nearby zombie. At this critical moment, Ed's phone suddenly rings. To everyone's disbelief, he casually answers it. Sean, furious with his dim-witted friend, slaps the phone out of Ed's hand and yells at him. Unfortunately, Sean's outburst catches the attention of all the nearby zombies. In a panic, David breaks a window, attempting to climb inside. Though a straightforward solution, it risks letting the zombies follow. Realizing this, Sean once again steps up. He climbs to a high spot and loudly calls out, drawing the zombies away from the entrance. The rest of the group seizes the opportunity to enter the pub. They wait anxiously, but Sean doesn't return. David, seizing the moment, suggests sealing all doors and windows and proposes taking over as leader. However, the group stands united in their support for Sean, insisting on waiting for his return before making any decisions. Frustrated, David starts arguing with everyone. At that moment, Sean reappears, having successfully shaken off the zombie horde and entered through the back door. The group, relieved and elated, starts drinking and chatting, letting their guard down as night falls. Suddenly, the streetlights flicker on. Sean suggests turning on the power so they can watch TV. He heads to the storeroom, flips the main switch, and turns on the back door light, only to find a mass of zombies right outside. Realizing they've been followed, Sean quickly warns the others. Ed, however, is engrossed in a video game. Ed, no! Sean and Liz rush over to stop him, but it's too late. The loud noise from the game has already attracted the zombies. One zombie suddenly appears inside the pub, and before anyone can react, the sound system inexplicably blares music, drawing even more undead attention. Sean instructs David to shut off the sound system while he and the others try to hold back the zombies. But in the critical moment, David proves unreliable. His frantic button pressing doesn't stop the music but instead triggers an even louder cacophony, effectively inviting the zombies inside. With the windows about to give way, the group realizes they have no choice but to fight their way out. However, just then, Sean's mom starts acting strangely. It turns out she had been bitten earlier. David immediately insists on eliminating the threat, but Sean refuses and even threatens David with a bottle. While they are at an impasse, Sean's mom turns into a zombie. With no other choice, Sean reluctantly takes the shotgun and puts her down himself. The group is overwhelmed with grief, but David begins making sarcastic remarks. Sean, filled with rage, punches David square in the face. This punch pushes David over the edge. He moves towards the window, declaring he wants to leave on his own. In that moment, zombies break through the window, grabbing David and pulling him outside. The group tries to save him, but it's too late. Witnessing her boyfriend's death right in front of her, Diane opens the door, armed with one of his legs, and charges into the horde of zombies, determined to go down fighting. She is quickly overwhelmed and lost in the sea of undead. Zombies pour into the pub, and Ed is unfortunately bitten in the chaos. Sean and Liz leap behind the bar, with the bitten Ed following them. Sean quickly douses the bar with a bottle of spirits and sets it alight, creating a temporary barrier against the zombies. However, they know it's only a matter of time before the horde breaks through. Fortunately, Ed, being a regular at the pub, remembers there's a hidden cellar that leads outside. The trio makes their way to the cellar. Realizing his fate is sealed, Ed decides to stay behind to buy Sean and Liz some time. As the zombies break through, Ed faces them alone, allowing Sean and Liz to escape through the hidden passage. However, when they emerge outside, they are met with an even more hopeless scene. Zombies are everywhere. Just as they brace themselves for a final stand, a truck suddenly bursts onto the scene. It's the military rescue unit. Under the overwhelming firepower of the military, the zombies are quickly eradicated. Sean and Liz are rescued. 2.5 months later, the zombie crisis is mostly under control. The remaining undead have been put to practical use. They help humans with simple tasks and even participate in entertainment shows for public amusement. As for the zombified Ed, Sean keeps him in the basement, and the two continue their lives together.